Right.
Okay then.
Okay then.
I guess we should.
probably.
Well, what is utopia? Well, to begin with, it's a term that's coined by this guy, Thomas More. Now, there's a fair chance you've heard of him, but if you haven't, he was born in 1478 and died in 1535. And during his life, he wrote this book, which is called, conveniently for us, Utopia. The title's a sort of literary play on words. It's an ancient Greek joke. It stems from this word, utopia, which means sort of good place, ideal place, and utopia, which means no place, an imagined place. And so Thomas More creates this realm, this space that frames itself somewhere in between a good place and a no place. The book starts with three people in a garden. Three people having a conversation on a bench in a garden.
This is also Thomas More. A different Thomas More and a different utopia. We know much less about this one. We know he was born in the early 19th century and lived a solitary life as a sailor, only to die at sea as an old man, being swallowed up by the very thing he committed his life to.
Are these utopias actually different? I mean, this idea has been around the entirety of human history. We've always been looking for another place, a better place, a fairer place. Why? Why do we do this? So, I suppose tonight we're trying to find utopia, or you're trying to find utopia, and you join us in a garden.
I remember I was on this boat trip once. It was with my dad, actually. It was on a hot boat trip to the south of France. It was one of the few holidays we'd actually been on. You know. And I can distinctly remember this one specific thing, this one specific feeling. Well, I looked out at the horizon, at the water, then looked back at my dad, then back at the horizon, listening to the sounds of the sea, the crashing of the waves, until all of a sudden, I just had this desire to be, I don't know, consumed by it, to be eaten by it, to be, I don't know,
Don't you think we need something to latch on to here? Because this is all going to get very complicated very quickly. You know, don't think something to ground them, you know?
Sorry?
Why, something to give them something, because, well, why don't we give them a bench in a garden?
A bench? Right.
Well, like Thomas More's bench in the garden. And I know Thomas More's bench was in Antwerp, but our bench could be in Westminster, or Paris, or Brussels, or Moscow. But let's say for tonight, our bench is in Salford.
and some say he never lived at all. We want to tell you a story about this Thomas More, a forgotten story that takes place one blustery, freezing cold morning in a dark and dingy harbour.
Draining the lake. Whilst this Thomas More set out on his voyage, on the other side of the world there's a very different story going on.
I want to tell you this. Okay.
So, if we have a look here, yeah. This is Bogota. It is the capital of Colombia and it's one of the largest cities in the world. Now, 35 miles northeast of here is a place called Lake Guatavita, just on the cusp of the Colombian Andes. The name comes from a now extinct language called Chibchawich. I mean, can you believe it? It's amazing. Languages go extinct all the time. And means high mountain or pool on a high mountain. This is where many believe the basis of the mythical story of El Dorado, a lost city of gold, ruled by this mythical king whose body was anointed in this golden dust comes from. Now, Spanish conquistadors in the 16th century led numerous expeditions to this area and the surrounding regions in search of the land of Meta, a land in which gold could be exchanged freely and which would allow them to return to European mainlands as heroes, amassing, well, unfathomable amounts of wealth.
Searching for Utopia.
I mean, these expeditions were excessive. It seems like all these men were nothing short of hellbent on trying to find this place. For example, Jimenez de Quesada, in 1569, that's it, right, led an expedition of over 1,800 men and returned to Bogota 2.5 years later with only 80 men left, achieving practically nothing. Quesada died in 1579, stipulating in his will that his successor must complete the search for El Dorado, quote, most insistently.
I mean, this is completely insane. These men rampaged across America. It seemed like they worked on a logic of, well, not over here, or over here, or over here, or over there. It must be over here. We must drain the lake. And it is. Again. Again. Again.
I've been thinking about scars, about scars on me and about scars on you, about scars that hurt and about scars that don't hurt, about scars that stay and about scars that fade. What does it mean for like a landscape to be scarred? What does it mean for us to be scarred? Sometimes you can see it and sometimes you can't, but something always remains, something always travels, something always affects. Even in the garden, there are still scars. This is Jimenez de Quesada. This is Sir Walter Raleigh. This is Alfred Wallace, the painter. And this is the filmmaker Werner Herzog. This is the French writer and satirist Voltaire. And this is the Italian actor Lamberto Maggiorani. This is the Italian filmmaker Vittorio De Sica. This is Eric Romer. This is Thomas More, the Saint. And this is Thomas More, the Sailor. This is the G7 summit.
This is Dan playing music for you. This is Cole, who's playing a character called Toby that is petrified of water, even though in reality Cole isn't. This is Alan playing a character called Patrick, which is a character he's played before. This is the King's Arms Theatre in Salford. This is a map of where we are. And this is a bench in a garden that desperately needs tending to.
Excuse me, sorry. What?
Have you always been scared of it?
Sorry? Oh, sorry. Yes, suppose ever since it happened. Really.
Since what happened?
Well, since I realised who we were doing this for, doing this for me, doing this for him, doing this for them.
Look, I know that, but Bicycle Thieves. It's released in 1948 and it is directed by Vittorio De Sica. The film star is this guy, Lamberto Maggiorani. Now, at the time the film was released, Lamberto Maggiorani was working in a factory and he was paid what would roughly be today $1,000 for his role in the film. After the film was released, he had this reputation of being a sort of Hollywood star, of being this sort of big shot, when in reality he was destitute. In reality, he never really managed to find work again.
Boat trip sort of things. Well, it was with my dad. Well, it's hard to explain. So, I remember, looking out to the horizon. Looking out across the ocean. Waves lapping
so fixated on this Thomas More? I mean, what is it that actually brings together the sailor and the saint?
I just have this desire, to be consumed, I suppose.
Why is it that we're so fixated
Just
on
this
finding what's just around the bend in the river?
Desire, I guess. That's the way I can put it.
Why is it that people literally
You're still
die
hearing now,
searching
the
for-
crashing of the waves going around my head. Crash.
Why are we doing this?
It's
Why
like
are we doing
it's like a
this
fucking
now?
washing machine really going around my head, Crash and crash and crash. Oh. Okay. I'm going to tell you a story now. Can you hear it? The sound of water. The sound of waves crashing. The sound of a storm. Of rain. Of an ocean. Please just try for a moment. Just to listen. We are in the King's Arms Theatre in Salford. In the rain, in the dark. Please just try for a moment. Just to listen. We are in the south of France on holiday together. The sun shines brightly. The water comes gently against the boat. Please just try for a moment, just to listen. You look out at the horizon, at the water. You look back at your ship, your vessel. You are now 70 years old, and you have been doing this your whole life. Listen. I am on a bench in my garden with my friends until all of a sudden I just have this desire to paint, to draw, to get this down. I just have this desire to shelter from the rain, to hide, to read, to hide and read, and to listen to the rain until it stops and I
this is a simultaneous drowning and burning. It's the burning of a forest and the filling of a person's lungs with water. It's the drowning of the past and the burning of it. It's a bench in a garden that desperately needs tending to. It's a scar that won't heal. It's something at the bottom of a lake that you just can't reach. It's a place to shelter from the rain. Our Thomas More was a fiction. He never was, he never will be. And I suppose, in a way, all of this was. But now, we've drowned the book. We've drained the lake, and I still don't know why. What I do know is that everything you touch, everything you see in this room and outside of it, on your phone or wherever, is literally gold.
I suppose what you've just seen has been a lot of us telling you certain things are this, certain others are this. It's been us trying to find some connections between all these different books and films and ideas and complicated things, and weave something between all these different threads of history, some of which are real and some of which are entirely fictional. It's been something about a bench and about scars and effects. It's been about reaching down for something that's just out of reach. It's been us and maybe you pretending to understand, to know. But really we don't. So I suppose before we go, I'd like to read you the final lines of my favourite book. Now, I've ended something like this before, but wherever I go, whatever I do, these words just won't leave me. I'm always coming back to them again and again and again, and I just think now would be a good time for you to hear them. So, here you go.
If you had not been kicked out of a magnificent castle for love of Miss Cunegonde, if you had not been put into the Inquisition, if you had not walked over America, if you had not stabbed the Baron, if you had not lost all your sheep from the fine country of El Dorado, you would not be here eating preserved citrons and pistachio nuts. All that is very well, answered Candide, but let us cultivate our garden.
Thank you very much.